everybody, and welcome back to the channel. And today, we're going to be breaking down the Green Bay Packers 2025 NFL Draft, go through the players who were selected, and give you my personal opinions on those picks as well. I think the Packers overall had an okay draft with some really good players I like, and a lot of guys I didn't even know were in the draft because they just weren't on most people's radar. But let's go ahead and get started with the Packers' first round pick, where for the first time since Javon Walker in 2002, the Packers selected a first-round wide receiver, and that is Matthew Golden out of Texas. Now, Matthew Golden was one of the receivers I was kind of interested in the first round. The others were being Emeka Egbuka, who went number 19 to the Buccaneers, and then Luther Burden I was very much intrigued by, but he went in all the way to pick 39 to the Bears, so there was some character concerns there. But Matthew Golden is, I think, going to be really, really good. Dude is extremely athletic, runs really, really good routes, good hands, good production in his last season at Texas. Ran a 4.29 40-yard dash, quick acceleration, big deep ball target. And so I absolutely love this pick for the Packers. Giving Jordan Love yet another weapon here, especially with Christian Watson being out for injury this whole year and Romeo Doubs not knowing his future. Getting this new face in here who is very, very fast, good hands, just absolutely insane. Some people have some worries about him because of his lack of production in college. Well, the thing is with that, he started out last year, he transferred into Texas, started off down on the depth chart behind guys like Isaiah Bond and like other receivers there. Dealt with Quinn Ewers as quarterback too, so not great there either. But by the end of the year, he established himself as a clear-cut number one guy, was key in their victory over Arizona State in the first round of college football playoff. And I am so pumped for him to be a receiver for us here. I think with Jordan Love's deep ball ability and with Golden's acceleration and speed, that is going to be an excellent, excellent connection. This pick gets an A+ for me, so love the Matthew Golden pick. And that was probably one of the best draft moments I've experienced for the Packers, was the reaction to Mark Murphy saying for the first time in 23 years, it was perfect. So then around 2, the Packers took a surprise to me. I thought they would go like corner or edge or something on the defense. Instead, they took Anthony Belton out of NC State as the offensive tackle. And I understand the reasoning behind this pick. We have 3 starters right now who are currently going to be free agents at the end of this year. That is Rasheed Walker at left tackle, Sean Rhyan at right guard, and Zach Tom at right tackle. 100% Zach Tom is being resigned. But I don't think they're going to keep Rasheed Walker and Sean Rhyan after this year. And Belton could replace both of them, potentially. Him and Jordan Morgan with some flexibility. And the thing with Belton, he is a massive 6'6", 336-pound dude who many people say has the best play strength in this entire draft for tackle. He is massive, really, really good run blocker, and I think he was sliding in the guard really, really well. And he's just, and he can improve as a pass blocker as well. The one thing with him, he gets penalized a lot. So he needs to clean up that and work on his footwork a little bit. But this is a bit early. I thought he would go like 3rd, 4th round. But the Packers like an offensive lineman. Most of the time, they are going to be right about that. And so I am, especially with the way the Eagles' defensive line is, getting a man with this much strength and this much size to go up against the fronts of the Eagles and all the other teams building up the defensive line. No problem at all with that. So I'll just pick a B- because I do think it was a bit early, but I understand the logic behind that. And if they can develop him and Morgan, having an offensive line of Anthony Belton, Aaron Banks, Elton Jenkins, Jordan Morgan, and Zach Tom, I think that would be a pretty good line for the next few years. So B- for Anthony Belton. Then in round 3, one that I actually got right in a couple of my earlier mock drafts, not in the last ones because I kind of targeted other guys. But Savion Williams, a wide receiver out of TCU, who has basically been compared to Cordarrelle Patterson for his dynamic playmaking ability. I don't mind this pick. I think he is going to be a very, very fun gadget weapon for Matt LaFleur to use. He's on jet sweeps, quarterback handoffs, can even throw the ball a little bit. He was kind of a wildcat guy in college. He's also most likely going to be the Packers kick returner and punt returner, which, I mean, with his ability as a 6'4", 220 man to one bowl over tackles and the agility and speed that he has, he is an excellent dynamic weapon. Now, the issue with him is that he has not great hands. That he has a lot of drops, and with the Packers already having drop issues with Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks, adding yet another guy who has a history of drop issues is a bit concerning to me. But I love the versatility he has. I think Matt LaFleur is going to get some designated touches on bubble screens, jet sweeps, all that stuff, and if he becomes a minimal Cordero Patterson level kick returner, that's going to be worth it for a third round pick, as a good kick returner can do so much for an offense. So, again, like the Belton pick, I'm going to give this a B-. And then round 4, we took Barron Sorrell, edge out of Texas. This was a very special one for the Packers because he was the only guy on day 3 still left in the green room. He was there all draft, just wanted to be there, wait for his name to be called. And for him to have his name called for the team that was hosting the draft, him walking out, hugging the commissioner, interacting with the fans all day on Saturday, that was pretty special. And from what I've heard from some Texas fans and my comments on my TikTok I made about him, that he is a high-energy, good leader. And you know what? For a 4th-round pick, I can work with that. He has a decent pressure rate, had a good amount of cleanup sacks last year. Does have a little bit of power, which is very, very good, so he's got good strength. But you got one thing why he lasted this long is like his pass rush win moves weren't necessarily the greatest in the world, so he would need to develop that. But just from everything I've seen about this guy, I absolutely love that he's going to be brought into the building at Green Bay. Love seeing character guys like him, so I'm going to give this pick a B for Green Bay. And then in round 5, at pick number 159, we took another edge rusher, Colin Oliver out of Oklahoma State. No clue who this guy was entering this draft, and so didn't a lot of people. But from what we've seen, his 2024 tape was not great. But his 2023 at Oklahoma State, he was really, really effective, really, really good. So like Dontavian Wicks a couple years ago, the Packers are betting on that previous year's tape to indicate what player he's going to be. And in the 5th round, getting kind of like a designated pass rusher was what he's going to be starting out. I think that could be okay. He's got good explosiveness, good speed, and so could be a good special teamer as well for Green Bay. 5th rounder, not too bad about that. Give it a B-. Then at pick number 198, the Packers addressed their defensive tackle spot by adding yet another Georgia defender in Warren Brinson as a defensive tackle. And he only started about 8 games at Georgia, but he has some good moments in run defense, where the Packers are probably going to use it for it to replace TJ Slayton. But he looks to be a very just kind of solid late-round guy, kind of plug in into rotation there with like Carl Brooks, Devontae Wyatt, and everything like that. So, and he's going to fit right in with a bunch of other Georgia defenders. So, Warren Brinson, I think, is a very solid guy. I mean, this late in the draft, you're kind of seeing what you can get, and getting a guy who could potentially be a starting defensive tackle to run stuff, I think is a solid use of a 6th-round pick. So, Warren Brinson out of Georgia, I'm going to give it a B-. Then, at round 7, number 237, the Packers addressed the corner room with Micah Robinson out of Tulane. This is another 7th-round pick that the Packers have used on the corner after Kerryon Valentine, who's now a starter, and Kalen King, who is on the practice squad. So, Robinson only played 1 year at Tulane, spent most of the time in low-level Furman, as it says there. But, I mean, is getting another body depth-wise in there. Don't know too much about him. Got to do more research into Micah Robinson. But another instance of this is the fact that they waited this long to draft a corner makes me personally think that they're going to. Reports are saying they're still going to try and trade Jair Alexander. But the way that they have approached the offseason and approached the draft makes me think that they are going to keep Jair for this season. I know it's going to save $17 million in cap room, but like, how is that going to help this year? I think this team is going to be a lot closer to Super Bowl contention with a Jair Alexander there than not. So, but we'll see how Robinson does. And then the last pick we did was John Williams out of Cincinnati. Another late-round offensive lineman the Packers like to try to develop into a guy. I mean, that's how Rasheed Walker became a starter. And John Williams could be that kind of guy and get some more depth for the Packers. So not really too much to say about that pick. I'm going to give it like a B minus. So overall, I think this draft is close to a B grade. I mean, start off really, really strong with Matthew Golden. I love that pick. I like the Belton and Williams picks. Also, I think they did some dart throws in the late rounds for position and need. So it's going to be interesting to see during camp and the preseason how these young guys perform. I am going to keep an eye on that personally, especially with Sorrell and Oliver, see how they do to rejuvenate this pass rush because we need that. But overall, I think it was a very solid draft, and I cannot wait to see these new weapons on offense and these edge rushers on defense. I think those two are going to be the groups to really watch out for this year. But thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for the amazing love you support throughout the entire draft season. Channel grew a good amount here as well, so I really do appreciate that. And yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.